Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back. All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Here we go again. So grateful to be back with you guys as always. Today, I want to talk a little bit about this whole idea of a fear of success, or someone having a fear of success. And I think it's something that a lot of people face that you don't hear a lot about. How do we overcome a fear of success? What causes a fear of success? The same answer as every issue: perspective. And tapping into the right perspective in order to really step up and become the next greatest and greatest version of yourself. And so we're going to dive into that topic a little bit today. Before we do, I would like to take a quick moment to read a review on iTunes. You guys know I love my iTunes reviews. Not only do they help us to reach new people, but certainly help to fuel my fire to continue this labor of love. So if you haven't reviewed on iTunes, would love it if you would. This one came in by Miss P Head. It's real, it's now, and it's you is the title. And Miss P Head said, I am a longtime listener to the Positive Head podcast and would like to let you know that this podcast is definitely worth your time and attention. Yes, you finally found it. If you're reading reviews to make sure it's worth trying out, take a chance now, because this time you won't be disappointed. It's real, it's now, and it's you. Listen in. There's a lot of good waiting right inside. Aw, thank you, Miss P Head. Indeed, I like that. It's real, it's now, it's you. I do believe the power of the show and the impact that it's had is because of the reality that we're circling, constantly. This idea that you are me and I am you and it is we and we are source and source is love. And it is here in the eternal now where we find all of our power, not being lost in the past or fantasizing too much about the future. Realizing your power is in the now, like Eckhart Tolle's book that is so popular and has helped wake up so many people's lives, because it's really, tapping into that ultimate truth. Ram Dass wrote a book, Be Here Now, in 1971, another great book on this very topic. So realizing that, you in this moment can overcome all of those fears and anxieties and all of those things, because, what you found is anytime there's been a now, you've always been able to deal with it and process it and get through it, even if it was challenging. So a lot of our speaking of fear of success comes from these projections into the future about what will or won't happen and how it will sort of affect us in a way that we can't process or deal with. And that's simply not true. That's just simply a lie. You're always able to deal with any sort of challenges in one way, shape, or form. You've always gotten through. Think about the idea that you're an eternal being that's always been and always will be. And just playing with that concept, the idea that you've had thousands of past lives and these sorts of things that there's so much evidence for if you go and really do the research. So this idea, think of all the things, and of course, people who have vivid past life recollection, there's a lot of like traumatic stuff that goes on, right? A lot of times souls have went through dark stuff in order to have the experience of coming out the other side. And even in those dark experiences that we've all heard about, or maybe even experienced in this lifetime, whoever it is, they got through it. They came out the other side. And, they've grown in some way into whatever they are now as a result of it. And when you realize it's all happening for you and not to you, then you can at least deal with whatever that challenge is. You can deal with the idea that, okay, I'm going to go down this path. I'm going to put myself out on a limb, and I might get the, kicked out of me. I might lose terribly. I might be embarrassed. I might fall on my face. And what if instead of allowing that idea, that concept to stop you dead in your tracks, so you sit on the sidelines, watching and hoping and watching other people who took the risks and actually get to have the type of life experience that you dream about? What if you became that person? You said, you know what? I'm going big or I'm going home. I'm going home anyway. We're all going to die 1,000 years from now. What will it matter whether you went for it or not? From one perspective, it won't matter a hill of beans, right? I'd so much rather to go for it and fail than to sit on the sidelines and just be comfortable. That's what you guys have heard me talking about with this whole new project, Optimistic, which we've just launched. We just have come out in the last few days. And it's, a huge leap of faith for me. It's like so much expense and cost to produce a new show and this new property and, taking the leap of faith that all of the people will want to show up for the retreats and, step out and co-create this experience. It's like, if it failed miserably, I am going to feel so good in knowing that I did everything that I could to stretch that growth edge and expand. And that's what you guys got to do too, is be willing to risk it all so that you can have it all. That is the path to your dreams coming true. And by the way, it makes me think, for those of you who haven't checking it out yet, of course, you can check out optimistic.tv. But there's on Sunday, we're doing our first optimization webinar where it's going to be live and direct with me. You can ask questions and I bring you up on stage, so to speak, on Crowdcast, the platform we're using. So the very first one is the 28th, Sunday, the 28th, coming up at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. And there's only a couple people registered so far. So this, if you want to connect with me, this is going to be probably definitely the most intimate one there ever will be. I expect, a lot of people down the road because I am manifesting that into my world. And, you guys can do that too. So you can manifest any of these dreams. It doesn't, obviously take small steps towards, where you're at to where you want to go. I started with this podcast before I started with, Optimistic. And beyond that, I will then stretch into something more and stretch into something more. So it's, realizing that you are enough and you are worthy. Marianne Williamson, who's running for president, said, a quote I love. And by the way, guys, I would go support her too, if you can, to get in the game, so to speak, as a Democratic nominee. But she said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that's this whole idea. I mean, what she's touching on there, as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That's this whole idea of so bet, that you heard talked about on the Hafiz episode, Rick Rudd talking about the ecstatics with Hafiz. One of the ecstatics was Hafiz a few episodes back, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. But Sobet is that very thing. As you raise your own vibration, as you liberate yourself from your own fears, isn't that a beautiful thought? Doesn't that idea just excite you to think about you coming through, coming out the other side, facing your fears, doing that thing? You know, as I always say, if it scares you and it excites you, you know it's for you. And imagine actually acting on those things, coming out the other side, and as a result, you have upgraded your own self vibrationally, and now you are having a vibrational shifting experience for those around you. The Sobet, transmission to your audience, to your listeners, to people in your proximity vibrationally. Right? We already know if you take a picture of you, there's an energy field extending way beyond your physical matter, your hands and arms and legs, right? So that's your destiny, is to continue to stretch, continue to stretch. And, this whole idea of, failure getting in the way. Stop anticipating failure. And actually say, you know what, I accept failure, and I'm going to dare to fail better. I'm going to dare to deal with it in a way that is more powerful, that is more, I'm going to, as I saw Will Smith, I believe, talking about fail fast and fail often, right? Have you ever thought about approaching your life in that way? That's your path to overcoming your fear of success. Actually embracing failure. Failure is a tool. You either win or you grow. Right? You either win or you grow and learn. And so therefore it's always a success. Isn't that such a relief to realize? You don't have to be afraid of succeeding anymore. Because you can't not succeed ultimately when it's all serving you. It's all happening for you. This idea of being afraid of abundance. No one has ever been more worthy of abundance than you. Not one human in all of creation has ever been more worthy of abundance than you. The richest man who ever lived was not more worthy than you. He just was telling a different story, having a different perspective about his right to abundance that vibrationally aligned with his vibrational escrow saying he wanted it. And therefore there was no blockage in the way, so it could manifest physically in his reality or her reality, right? Just stop getting in your own way. Stop anticipating failure. Dare. Be brave enough to fail better. That's the path. That is your path. That is where you're going from here. And doesn't that feel good? Whew. All right. I don't have to worry about failing anymore. No more fear of success. It's a success that I try. Just getting up out of bed, just being here. You are a raging success. I say that all the time. Just choosing to come into physical form and experience separation from source. You're in this love bubble of goodness, eternal goodness, and you step outside of that and experience the madness that is life in 3D. Like, you're just a little bit crazy and a whole lot of brave. And so just being here, you're already a raging success. Congratulations. All right. I have a very short clip here. This is Bashar talking about the 5 forms of abundance, or it's highlights from a workshop, I guess he gave, called the 5 forms of abundance. And you can find this on the Bashar channel by Daryl Anka YouTube page. Let's take a listen.
All right, I'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. We would like to begin this transmission by reminding you that it is titled The 5 Forms of Abundance. Now, there are many forms of abundance, but we are going to discuss 5 major forms that you experience in your reality in this transmission, so that you can begin to understand that it is not limited to what you may have been taught to believe is representative of abundance, of wealth, of empowerment. So, let us begin with the 5 forms that are most common in your world. All right, so I go back to the original question. Mm-hmm. If you do, in fact, really act on your highest excitement and be the person you prefer to be, what are you afraid might happen? That's what the panic is about. What are you afraid might happen?
It's more like things happen beyond my, my imagination or my
What
capability.
are you afraid might happen?
Let's say my roof leak, when it rains or something, it might
What's
pour
so
down.
bad about that?
Then my house will be ruined.
Is that it? If I act on my passion, my roof might leak.
No.
Oh my gosh, it's the end of my life. I'm getting water on my head. What will I do? I guess I will lie down and die.
No, I don't mean that I don't act on my highest passion because I'm worried about roof leaking. I'm talking about like my passion may be interrupted or all of a
Did you
sudden.
remember what we said before about the idea that you cannot experience a negative thing if you're actually in the state of passion? The very fact that what just came out of your mouth, I'm afraid my passion will be interrupted, is exactly what I asked you to say. That's your fear-based belief. It's not a fact. It's what you believe might be true. And that's why you don't even start. Because you believe in such a thing as an interruption in your passion. There doesn't have to be any such thing in your experience, but you believe there might be, so you don't even begin.
So
That's the belief.
So in real life, let's say if something happens.
Real life.
Real life.
Because what we're talking about can't possibly be real life.
No, I mean everyday life. Let's say if some dramatic thing happen, we as human, the first reaction was, oh my God, and then you deal with this.
No. That's a learned response because of a meaning you're putting into the situation unconsciously. No one has to react that way. It's not automatic. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. It's a perspective. It's a belief. It feels like a fact because you're used to it. You're saying, well, everyone knows this. Everyone knows humans react. No, they don't. You've been taught to believe that they do. And therefore, for you, it's real. But it's not a fact. It's an experience you're generating because you assume it's a fact. You assume it's a natural thing. It's not. It's a learned experience.
Before we continue on with today's episode, for those of you interested in getting more fantastic fungi in your life, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about a friend of mine's brand new company, The Great Mother. Recently, I have been drinking The Great Mother's superfood mushroom coffee alternative called Ritual, as well as regularly taking their awesome Ally microdoses, and I am truly loving both. As you probably know, these days, many of the world's highest achievers and performers swear by microdosing. The problem is it can still be difficult to get a hold of magic mushrooms. That's why when my friend reached out, who lives in an area and country where legalization is not a problem like it was in the past, and said he'd be willing to offer microdoses to my listeners, I wanted to pass the word along. Ally microdoses are 100% organic. And in addition to a small amount of the magic active ingredient, they also contain functional mushrooms like lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, and other brain boosters like bacopa. Ally is essentially a full spectrum nootropic. And of course, the coffee alternative Ritual doesn't contain magic mushrooms, but it has an array of the best organic functional mushrooms in the world. And, with functional mushrooms, it's really important to get them from the highest integrity sources. And whereas some other highly popular mushroom coffee alternatives on the market only contain a few varieties of functional mushrooms in their actual ingredients, Ritual has 7. Not only does it contain more types, it also contains 3 to 4 times the amount that the big brands have in each serving, and it tastes amazing. I actually like to have it on its own as well as mixing it into my coffee sometimes as well. However, since this is definitely a unique offering, there are a few steps. First, just reach out and request to follow the private page, thegreat.mother on Instagram. Once you've been accepted to follow, just message what you're interested in getting and someone will get back to you. I love how he says this here. You can't experience a negative thing if you're in a state of passion. This whole idea, you're afraid your passion might be interrupted. Meanwhile, we've learned to judge things as bad or good. There is no such thing. This is all learned behavior that's been passed on, been told. We bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Oh, this is good. This is bad. Oh, if the roof leaks, it's bad. Oh, is it? Maybe so. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the best thing that ever happened. Had it not leaked, the next month it would have been so dry in there, it would have caught on fire and you all burned to the ground. Maybe so. You don't know. You can't see. But what you can do is trust the process of your life is unfolding for you. And trust that it's unfolding and happening for you, not to you. I haven't shared it in a while, so I'll share it again as we wind down here. The story of the Taoist farmer. And the Taoist farmer the story goes a little bit like this. And of course, Taoism being a philosophy, a very ancient philosophy, that was very similar to what we talk about in the show. This idea that all is one and all is in divine order and we're connected to source and, all the things we talk about here. So I definitely, you can read Lao Tzu is the one who's sort of known for bringing it forward in a way, that at least at this time in the Western world, we're most familiar with is like the Tao Te Ching. So if you want to ever check it out, but, and that's spelled Tao space DE space CHING. But anyway, the Taoist farmer story. So this farmer who has this whole perspective on his reality in his life and his world is tilling his fields, uses his horses. He has a horse rather to till his field, right? This is his horsepower and he needs it. And it's important. It's crucial to his crops. One day his horse runs away. His neighbors, who don't have this philosophy and perspective on life, come over and immediately react, judging the book by the cover, never seen the chessboard any more than one move ahead of itself. They say to him, "Oh my gosh, your horse is gone. You're screwed. That's your one horse. You need that to manage your crops." Taoist farmer understanding it's all happening for him, not to him, and there's many bigger things at play, many moves that he can't even see. He trusts the process of his life and says, maybe so. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm screwed. Maybe I'm not. The next day, the horse comes back miraculously, and it's picked up a wild horse. So now the farmer, instead of, he went from his one horse to no horses. Now he has two, double the horsepower. And the neighbors see this, come over and say, "Oh my gosh, we thought you were screwed, but wow, look how lucky you are. Because he ran away, it actually found another horse, and now you have double the horsepower. You can do your crops twice as fast. Congratulations. Look how good this is." Taoist farmer says, "Maybe so. Maybe it is good. Maybe it's not. Who knows? I'm just going to go with what's flowing and happening in my life." Next day, the farmer's son, his one key human helper, goes to tame the wild horse and is riding it, and it throws him and it breaks his leg. Neighbors see this, come over and say, "Oh my gosh, we thought you were so screwed when the horse was gone. Then we thought you were so lucky when they brought back this wild horse. Now we know you're screwed. You definitely can't do your work without your human helper, your son, who is so crucial to all the work that you're doing." Taoist farmer, having the perspective of trust, faith in the flow of his life, says, maybe so. Maybe it's bad. Maybe it's good. Who knows? I trust. Next day, the military comes along looking for young men like his son, to take off to war, sure to die in this upcoming battle. And they come to scoop up the farmer's son, who is laid up in bed with a broken leg. Because he's laid up with a broken leg, the military people leave him. He's no good to them. They leave him, which in essence results in his life being saved. He would have died if his leg had not been broken. They would have pulled him out to war and made him come. Neighbors come back over and say, "Oh my gosh." They see this. They witness this. "We thought you were screwed. We thought you were lucky. We thought you were screwed again. Now we know you're lucky." Of course, you can guess what the Taoist farmer's response was. Maybe so. Love that story. One of my favorites. Have a song to leave you guys with. Once again, if you can, I would love to actually get to connect and interact and address your questions live and direct on Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, April 28th. Just go to optimistic.tv if you want to join. It's the $22 tier that will ultimately support the show that we're co-creating, and that is a good thing. Good ROI on that $22. Ripple of impact. ROI. All right. This is D-Rock the Menace. Hip-hop artist that is like my new fave. I absolutely love this guy. His lyrics are a trip. He's definitely talking about all the things, understanding the ultimate nature of reality, tapping into some real inspiration. And a lot of times I feel like that's missing in hip hop. And I love the genre. I mean, I used to make that kind of music. If you guys have heard, I've played it before a long time ago, or actually that original intro of the show, there was one of my old tracks. But yeah, this is the first guy I've heard in a long time who's sort of doing the same thing that I was back in the day, talking about consciousness and the ultimate nature of reality in his rhymes. And he does it really, really well, and really fun, comedic, all the things. And I thought this would be a good time to share because his song is called Level Up with 2 P's. This is D-Rock the Menace. Hope you enjoy your level up. Until next time, journey well. Love you so, so much.
Diving in, I'm off the high board. Man, I'm off the Richter like I slipped the Fisher. How I tip the scale, shit we do be superhuman, probably cyborg. I've been around you cannot fathom, and you need to dive more. When I search for weed, you already need to die more. Times couple more, 14 times knocking at the front door. Then the monsters open, take me into their home. Pull from underneath the bed, shine me up on my chrome. Like I'm Joel up in the loading storm, my neck poppin', Shamalama Kushnama, let's be ready. Shamalama Kushnama, you're not ready. Fuck a master teacher, fuck debates and shit. Might as well be preaching, might as well be collecting plates and shit. I ride the highway of information, literally. Mushrooms and Kundalini, DMT, I feel my chi. Rising to the top, I be like Satnam, I'm my fucking G. Voodoo, voodoo, voodoo. Naga watch me notch my stature up. Voodoo, 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 voodoo. Watch a Naga level up. Kung Fu.
I think I'm out my mind, 'cause I'm about to climb to the top of this mountain, to get to the other side. Quite a mountain. I think I'm out my mind, 'cause I'm about to climb on this mountain, to get to the other side. We're quite a mountain. I think I'm out my mind, 'cause I've been wasting time floating in my mind, like this fucking water fountain. I think I'm out my mind, 'cause I've been wasting time, floating out my mind, like that fucking water fountain. I think I'm out my mind, 'cause I've been wasting time, floating in my mind.
Who is you? Who you think you are? All that gas got you burning like a speeding star. Hit them high, hit them low, I make them raise the bar. Use a chicken, no limbo, see how much I break my back. But it's cool, I made a gold, I get the pot, fuck the bag. I'm just floating on this rug, smoking bud, doing match. How I'm floating on this rug, full of fungus, 'cause it's magic. When you beat me, give a hug, show me love, man, that's family.
I think I'm out my mind, 'cause I'm about to climb to the top of this mountain,